Welcome, everyone. My name is Janet Jaswal, and I'm the Global VP of Marketing at Blueshift. And I would like to welcome Carrie Boba, the Senior Digital Marketing Manager of Five Below, a Blueshift customer. Welcome, Carrie.
Hi, thank you. Nice to be here.
Wonderful. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Five Below and your role there.
So as a huge national retailer, we feel here at Five Below that because we're a store that's really curated with the coolest, trendiest things for kids, adults, and teens, kind of filled with everything they want. That's $5 or less. And my job as a senior digital marketing manager here is to really simply get our customer base to purchase for themselves, their friends, their kids, as frequently as they can, both online and in-store, by reaching them with personalized, highly tempting messages to get them to purchase our latest assortment. So we kind of just, we do seasonally refresh our assortment.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like a great brand. Tell us a little bit about some of the biggest challenges that Five Below faced with email marketing and customer engagement before using Blueshift.
Yep. So our main challenge before using Blueshift is that our tool didn't really allow for dynamic or personalized content. So we were really a batch and blast only strategy where every person on our list really received the same email, and every email that we created, we designed from scratch. So there was no templatization. It was a lot of work for one person to manage before my arrival here. And then there was really no personalized content. So you were receiving the same email that, a teen or a grandparent would be receiving. Yeah, that was a struggle. So they really dictated the marketing, and it was more from Five Below's perspective and less about what the customer actually wanted and asked for.
Gotcha. Okay. So tell us about the type of data that you've been collecting and using in your marketing efforts. Tell us how are you collecting data and how are you leveraging the data collected through the Blueshift platform to inform your marketing strategies. Perhaps you can share a specific example of how the improved data insights impacted your marketing efforts.
So we use past purchase behavior, both in-store and online. We also use persona data that we kind of define in our own systems, and then we import it into Blueshift. So we have like persona segments, basically, where you could be a teen or you might fall into like a millennial mom persona. So we have that data that we import. And then we have web browse behavior data, and we use the category affinities through Blueshift. So kind of like a mix of all different types of data. And then we utilize this behavior to segment and target some of our mass email messages now. So you might receive a different version than me, for example, depending on where you fall, within our personas. And then we also include relevant personalized recommendations on automated messages that are unique to each customer based off what they browsed or added to cart or purchased. So we use it in a couple different ways, and it really works for us.
Nice. Can you walk us through how Five Below uses Blueshift across the customer journey? I know you have you send emails, they're on your website, they're in store. So give us a sense of that cross-channel strategy, if you will.
Our goal in digital marketing is really not only to drive traffic to our site. Obviously, that's one key goal for us, but we're also asked to drive foot traffic to stores as well. So our website allows customers the option to purchase online and ship to home, but it also gives them the option to select their nearest store and either buy online and pick up in store, or just go directly to the store and shop and browse there. So our strategy is really, from a marketing perspective, to drive customer engagement and excitement by launching kind of what I was talking about earlier, those seasonal shops throughout the year that showcase all the new product and drive urgency to shop early. And we let the website kind of do the work of how they want to purchase it. So our marketing efforts are really to drive traffic to the site, and then the site is really tasked with giving them the options to purchase online or go in store.
You've mentioned using Blueshift for recommendations and predictive scores. Can you tell us how some of these capabilities impacted how you engage with customers?
Yes. So we use product recommendations in almost every single email we send, all the way from mass emails that are kind of the same for every user to highly targeted automated messages like the abandoned cart emails, abandoned browse, and post-purchase. Our biggest win with the personalized recommendations was implementing our PDP-specific abandoned browse series. So this series sends 3 emails, each one day apart, showing the item that someone just browsed, and then each email recommends a different assortment of items. So our first email recommends items that are related to that same subcategory. And then our second and third actually showcase like a different assortment so that each email really does perform just as well as the one before or after it. They all drive almost equal revenue because we're able to show them items that relate to what they saw, but in different ways. So same subcategory, or maybe the same higher level category, or the same price points. That's kind of how we work with it. And that email alone is our best performing automated series, both from a click standpoint and sales. So it was a big win for us.
I gotcha. Thank you for that. Now, you're using product recommendations quite extensively, and that comes from the predictive capabilities of customer AI. Can you quantify the value of those product recommendations from the platform?
Yes. So when we first set them up, I did just do a couple A/B tests to just test against what we had been doing in the past, which was really sending basic designed image emails that didn't show any product recs. And I A/B tested that against showing 4 rows of 3 product recs, so 12 total. And we saw that a plus 22% increase in sales. Clicks actually weren't much higher, but sales was where we saw the big win. And that was our main KPI that we were tracking.
Yeah, I would take the increase in sales any day. So
Exactly.
that's a good result. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. So Blueshift's flexibility allows marketers to take control of those campaigns without relying heavily on tech teams. Can you share an example of how this has made your work easier or more impactful?
Yes. I was able to set up the abandoned cart, abandoned browse, and post-purchase email series almost completely on my own, which was very well received at the company. I really only relied on the help of maybe our creative team for some design aspects of the email, but it has been incredibly seamless to make tweaks, set up A/B tests, include personalized subject lines that incorporate all different types of dynamic variables like product names, prices, or first name. So all of that has been great because we are a small and nimble team here at Five Below on the digital marketing side. So it's really just me and one other person, and I'm able to do almost everything completely on my own. So that is definitely a big win for us.
You've touched on several capabilities within the Blueshift platform. Perhaps you can share with us what features do you find most valuable?
The product recommendation engine is one of my favorite things about Blueshift. Not only being able to incorporate it into emails easily, but really just the recommendation engine itself. I have been able to set up so many different recommendation blocks that I can filter into different emails depending on category, interest, or site behavior. And these have made all of our emails just look so much more professional and dynamic in nature. And our creative teams, tech teams, and leadership have all taken note at how our CRM campaigns have improved to the next level since using Blueshift, mainly because of those product recs. They really they became the bread and butter of our email program, and they drive the most clicks of our emails. And our leadership has definitely noticed how, we've improved since we started using them.
Oh, wonderful. I love hearing that. So even if you don't have exact numbers, perhaps you can share with the audience, what does success look like for Five Below since using Blueshift? Maybe an example of a campaign that's been performing well.
Yeah, so other than abandoned browse and abandoned cart, which we were able to implement using Blueshift, which are both huge wins, our welcome email series has been another big win for us in conjunction with using the new Blueshift conversion suite as our site's email sign-up pop-up form. So before Blueshift, we only had a sign-up section or form on the bottom of our site. So users really only got onto our email list if they happened to scroll all the way down there, or if they purchased online, they would come into our list that way. Now that we use Conversion Suite through Blueshift, we have a stellar pop-up box that shows up on our site on all pages, and that drives increased sign-up rates, and then immediately fires off a welcome series that helps filter users into those automated messages. So our first welcome email shows a slew of product recommendations based on different categories, and it drives that first click. And then those users really do fall straight into our abandoned browse emails or abandoned cart emails. So right off the bat, they're getting personalized emails using product recommendations again.
Have you noticed any improvements in driving those online purchases, or perhaps connecting the offline behaviors to the online actions with the Blueshift platform?
Yeah, so our post-purchase email series is initiated based off users who purchased either online or in-store, as long as we have info that attaches their in-store purchase with their email address in our system. So that is one win for us, where we are able to reach users, not all of them, but there is some match there that we're able to reach users who did go in store to buy something, and we follow up with a post-purchase email series that shows them, other items that they might like based on their purchase, and really tries to get them back in store to purchase again.
Tell us, how has the ability to manage these campaigns across those multiple channels, how has that impacted your overall marketing strategy?
Yeah, so we implemented push campaigns within the last year and a half or so using Blueshift. And again, that was just another channel that Blueshift made it really simple for me to add additional, I call them legs, into our journeys that we already had built. So I didn't have to completely redo things. I really just took these automated email series that I've been referencing, like our abandoned browse, and I added like another step in the process that says if they are push enabled, also send them a push notification that also shows them the item they just looked at or recommends a new item. So we now have it set so that if somebody is both opted into email and push, they kind of receive both. And we have a long way to go in terms of improving and taking that channel to the next level. But the fact that we were able to set anything up almost without any additional tech work was a big win for us as well.
Yeah, it must be nice to be able to add those additional channels if you see customers are interacting there. So that's good. So speaking of abandoned browse, you mentioned that reducing abandoned carts was an important goal. Can you share some results for the emails that are sent with the personalization on the Blueshift platform? Like, how often does it turn into a purchase?
Yeah, sure. So our abandoned cart emails, our open rate is around 41%, which is pretty good for it not being an act. Our typical email send list is a very engaged list where you have to have opened an email within the past 30 days or so. So the fact that abandoned cart doesn't really include that engagement filter and it still has a 41% open rate is a great sign that those are performing well. And then our click-through rate, so out of all those opens, 5.3% of them click through, which again is higher than our typical mass email sends. And then 21% of those unique clicks turn into purchases, which is much higher than our standard marketing emails and goes to show that those are performing quite well.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely high compared to the industry average. So congrats. Good for you.
Thank you.
All right. So let's talk, let's shift gears a little. Let's talk about AI. So everyone's talking about AI, but I'd love to hear from you. How do you think AI is shaping the future of retail marketing, and how has Blueshift's platform and its AI capabilities helped Five Below stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, so I think AI so far has proven to really be a helpful resource for our team. I mentioned earlier that we're a very small and nimble team with, not a lot of us all marching towards building emails. So I've relied on AI mostly for copywriting suggestions, subject line writing, at least kind of giving me a couple ideas to start from. And then I've also used it to insert dynamic content variables when I don't it's faster to do it using AI and just kind of explain what I need to insert into sections of our emails versus having to go look up documentation and find out what that language is supposed to look like and then kind of copy and paste it over. So I see it as kind of a helpful arm, another person on our team that's helping make our process a lot smoother. And then Blueshift has certainly stayed ahead of the curve by already providing ways to build emails or write copy using simple instructions. So I did do a test run with just kind of seeing if I were to just type into the Blueshift AI tool to create a personalized product rec section for me, for example, it did it within seconds. And then I was able to just kind of take that code and tweak it from there to match our look and feel, but it was able to give me the bones of it without me having to do anything other than just type in and tell it what I wanted it to do. So,
gotcha. I imagine that saved some amount of time.
Yes, definitely.
Very good. Good. Talk to us about strategies that Five Below has implemented to keep customers coming back. You seem to have a great set of product assortments that's constantly changing, and it does sound like keeping customers engaged is important. So tell us, what have you implemented to keep the customers coming back, and how has Blueshift supported those efforts?
Sure. So we had our data analytics team provide insights into how often our customer purchases and at what frequency. So we kind of used that as our baseline. And we designed our post-purchase email series to really help increase that retention and repeat purchase rate by sending emails with, again, personalized product recommendations at the most optimal time to drive that second purchase. So that series alone has been super impactful for us and is one of our strongest automated email sales drivers to date.
Gotcha. Okay. And then how does Blueshift help you feel more confident in your marketing strategies? For example, when using the product recommendation engine, do you find that it takes the guesswork out of personalization? Does it help in other ways?
Certainly, yes. The personalized recommendation engine alone has made me feel confident that every single message we're sending out has some sort of relevant dynamic content within it that not only drives increased traffic and sales, but also just gives our customers a message that feels unique to them. Even our welcome email, like I mentioned before, showcases product recs for each kind of persona that someone might fall into, like a tween or kids or a millennial parent, which then drives clicks and it drives clicks to the site, which then triggers even more additional personalized messages as a follow-up. So, yeah, I feel since starting to use Blueshift, we just kind of had or before Blueshift, I would say we kind of had like a flyer look with our emails, and now we do look like a smart marketer that's actually talking, as one-on-one as we can with each customer.
Yeah, and that is important to help the customers feel seen and heard, if you will. Okay. All right. Last question. What would you say to another company that's considering Blueshift? Has it changed the way you approach marketing at Five Below? What advice would you give to them?
Yeah, I would say that Blueshift is a great tool to make even the smallest marketing teams feel the most equipped to make their marketing strategies and messages really reach their full potential. I've been able to do so much with Blueshift just as a 1 to 2 person team without having to rely on other resources like the tech teams or slowing down timelines. So I would say that it's a great tool, not only for a small team, obviously large teams would benefit from it as well, but it's easy to use. The interface is easy to understand and work with and manipulate. It's easy to do anything from A/B testing to inserting dynamic content variables to creating multiple different versions. So I would say that it's a very powerful tool that is very user-friendly and marketer-friendly. And I am able to work efficiently and effectively, making small tweaks, anywhere from small tweaks to huge changes that really immediately impact our performance and our strategies.
Wonderful. Carrie from Five Below, thanks again for sharing the experiences you've had with the Blueshift customer engagement platform.
Great. Thank you, Janet. It was a wonderful conversation.